Seriously. Jeez.
Today is September 14th. This is episode 34, Talk Story. We are live from South Beach. If you can hear the bass in the background on the microphones, we can hear it here.
Yeah.
It is bumping right over here
Apparently the bar
behind
next
South
door is having a
Point
good party.
Tavern is having quite the party tonight. We're going to have to check that out later.
Yeah, it's a little fundraiser for a local elementary school.
Jumping into weekly hap. Before we start our intros, I'm Brad from ThankYouSurfing. This is
Christian de la Iglesia, First Surf Shop.
over here. We got some guys coming down from slightly up coast.
Don't adjust your TV screen. This isn't the 90s. This isn't. The
Pat
old
O'Connell.
school Pat O'Connell and Wingnut.
It's, I think they are in the running for
The new generation.
Halloween costumes figured out. That's for sure. You guys have that squared away. So who are these guys?
I'm Chris Caldwell from Fort Lauderdale, and
My name's Billy Marshall. I'm from Delray Beach.
Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
thanks for having us.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Thanks, man.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Nice to see you guys.
Yeah.
Cheers. Studio audience back there.
Got no mic for Caleb.
Yeah.
Yo.
Studio audience. Scar.
So let's get right into weekly happenings. Today's the 14th. Tomorrow the 15th. It is
How it works.
International Coastal Cleanup Day, which is one of those days that Surfrider makes up so that people can go to the beach and get together and feel good about cleaning up the environment. So go check it out if you're into that sort of stuff, or just pick up the beach trash that you see
Every single day. Don't make it one day, just do it every day.
It is a good place to find like-minded people that are into environmental stuff. Probably a bunch of cute little surfer girls, all that kind of stuff.
There's cute surfer girls out there?
That happens at Surfrider. And cute little surfer boys like these guys probably show up at Surfrider stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
So are we saying that day is today or that's tomorrow?
That's tomorrow.
Tomorrow's Saturday.
Saturday, the September 15th. Also in weekly happenings, it was the 20th anniversary of the Unsound Pro.
20 years.
Incredible.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, them holding a contest in September is probably a pretty good bet.
Yes, it's a great bet. Dave Wan, Mike Nelson from Unsound, those guys have been doing this whole thing as a community effort forever, and it grew to WSL size for 1 year.
What the Unsound was part of the WSL.
That was it.
Okay.
That was the contest.
All right.
back when it was the ASP, right?
Yeah. Was that 1 year?
That was the one where Kelly punted that one time, landed
That
in the
full
flats.
three.
That was just ridiculous. You're like,
That was
everyone's knees
ridiculous.
broke while watching it.
That was, yeah.
Not his, apparently.
Yeah, that
But
was
he
incredible.
killed it.
But that was awesome. And Marley
Local boy,
was a finalist.
Marley Puglielli,
Yeah, Marley.
was a finalist.
That was awesome.
We
So
were stoked.
we're-
As soon as I saw it, I was like,
I was really happy to see him to go up there.
Congrats,
and then
brother.
coming back with a final. That's awesome.
it is good. He wasn't even sure if he was going to enter. Like last
Dude.
minute, he's like hitting him up. He's like, is there a little room for me?
Definitely
Maybe
slide right
me.
in. And the waves are cranking.
Yeah,
so good.
So good. Cheers to that.
Yeah, I mean, just to go up there to surf is a good idea.
Where do you think the waves came from? Yeah. Didn't come down here though. Thanks, Florence.
Thank
for hooking
you.
up everyone else.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's get right into.
Yeah,
So this place that we're grouped live here from First Surf Shop in South Beach.
Right.
And this place has been here for a little while, hasn't it?
Yeah, we're coming into our 10th year, October 1st.
Incredible.
Thank you.
It's so awesome. Look, any business to be in business at all is hard. To be in business 10 years is super hard.
Try doing that in a
surf
town.
shop. Yeah.
Whereas it's
Try-
desert for waves and you're a surf shop, you're like, how is like, maybe I should sell
And the
some
business
cheap ice.
environment is just
Right.
like constantly kicking you in the.
Yeah, it still is. But yeah, we're coming into our 10th year. October
Awesome.
1st makes 10 years.
Congratulations to you,
and
Mark.
thank
That's
you.
awesome.
Thank
Congrats.
you. We're amped on that, and we've got some festivities planned for that week. Oh, you know, we're not going to just do one day. We're going to do a couple days. We're going to have some fun. So definitely stay tuned. We'll be promoting it not just on this week, but every week leading up to it. So
All kinds of stuff.
leave your calendar open between October 1st and October 6th. And
The whole time, just leave it open.
Yeah, every day there might be something going on. So, we're stoked. We're amped.
Block that out.
it's
That whole
taken
first
about
week.
10 years, but God, I mean, there's times that it kind of feels like we've got easily another 10 in us. Like we've just barely scratched the surface. So, help us make another 10 happen.
Look at you. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Report and forecast. So the report has been tons and tons and tons and tons of waves, tons of swell coming, except for down here.
Although we thought there was going to be.
Yeah, we'll get into the why the report. That's our first topic tonight. Is why it's really wrong. But there's waves up coast, predictably all week. And I mean, from the time we came from Surf Expo and surfed Saturday, Sunday, Cocoa Beach, and then north of Cocoa. I mean, it was great. Waves were really, really, really fun. And then it continued to be fun all the way through. Well, still now. And
what do you think the standout spots were in the last?
Okay.
What do you think the standout spots were for this whole week or so? Would you guys say that there was any one specific place?
Whoa.
Are we jumping
Yeah, we
ahead?
can't give away the secrets.
Sorry, all right.
Yeah.
All right,
Chris,
sorry.
Chris.
God, my bad. You could say Treasure Coast,
Yeah,
North
Treasure
Florida.
Coast was going
You
on.
wanted to go surfing north of here. Is probably what you wanted to do. Here being South Beach.
I mean, because
most
really
fickle
nobody knows where things are going on.
waves.
There's not a million cameras on every single spot. Anyways.
Yeah, I know, but
I get it. All right,
there's
fine.
still. Look, I go surfing places that many people don't go surfing, and they're in my memory bank and database, and I don't need to go telling everybody about where
get
they
it.
are. And even if when I do go surf
He
around,
only tells you if it's to get you to go check it for it.
It's
the only way you find out about
Caleb,
spots.
how many waves have you surfed to me for the first time? A couple at least. All right. So I'm not all bad, but the waves have been great.
Yes.
I mean,
Very,
the wind's
very
been good. It's been, and even for this long period as well, it looked like a lot of places were kind of holding it, at least in the pictures, which are probably from all the marquee spots. So, but I did
How about
find
the-
a lot of closeouts where I
how about the
surfed.
direction?
That was fun.
The direction of the swell.
Yeah, a lot of east in it, so there's certain spots that work better on that kind of stuff. It was actually more like east-southeast to start. And then as we came later into the week, got more east-northeast, even northeast, even north-northeast, which did throw a little bit of swell all the way down into South Beach. But it was like,
Micronesia.
yeah, knee to thigh high. It was
minuscule.
Yeah, the angry inch.
I mean, it was a solid groundswell knee to thigh high,
Right.
which is weird to say, but like it had.
It's so
it,
sad
it
to
was
say.
coming in
It's so weird to
sets,
say
and
that.
you could count the interval between it being like
Yeah,
13, 15 seconds, and you'd be like, wow, this is a groundswell. It just needs to be 2-3 feet bigger, and we're in business.
Yeah, high-fiving over that ankle high.
Stoked.
I got a couple of really
Super
good ones
stoked.
actually.
Dude,
so
you
I'm not gonna-
got it. You got it.
You nailed that way. We'll wait 15
but,
seconds for the next one.
Rest of the weekend looked really fun up coast. Got what was it? Isaac and
Jasenia.
Joyce. Joyce that threw out swell or continued throughout swell. They're tropical depressions now, so minimal swell coming from them. But they were hurricanes earlier, so that swell's in the water, headed Central Florida, North Florida. Good waves all weekend through Monday. So go surfing if you missed it
How
this
the winds-
week.
How the winds for?
Winds look good too. So yeah, just go surfing. Looks really fun.
Sick.
All right, so let's get into why the report and why the forecast is wrong.
Yes, Bradley. Why?
So there's kind of multiple dimensions that I want to get on this one. One was like Florence, so we can talk specifically about why that didn't pan out, especially down here, because even a lot of the old timer guys that I talk to that do stuff more like they feel it in their knees.
Right.
You know, like the mangoes are early this year, so we're gonna get a swell in September, whatever the hell it is. Those oracles were like, yeah, it's gonna be good. Yeah. So I was very optimistic on this one, as were you.
The
I mean,
oracles were speaking.
yeah, I mean,
They all aligned.
and everything was. I mean, like, my first thing is, does the storm go through our swell window? That's like your first factor.
Yeah.
You know, if it's not doing that, there's nothing to look at. And we get very few storms that do that for South Beach. We have a swell window that's like 15 degrees or something like
Maybe
that.
breaks 2 times a year.
Well,
When it's
maybe more than
firing.
that,
Yeah,
Chris.
more than that.
Damn it.
When it's firing.
These up coast guys.
Oh man, throwing shade immediately.
It's Fort Lauderdale guys.
Yeah, I know,
We always
seriously.
get all the surf.
Not the case.
Oh god.
Delray Surf
But,
Club shout out.
you. So there's Florence, and then there's this whole other thing, which is that a lot of what everybody looks at is not really like a report in the way they think it's a report. It's not someone looking at the beach, like your buddy saying like, hey, it's like chest high, it's got a little bit of wind, but it looks pretty good, maybe when the tide goes out. It's not like that. It comes from a computer, and you got to understand where that stuff's coming from to understand why you're getting the readings you're getting, because some wacky things happened with this swell. Which was it 2 days ago? Surfline was reporting one spot as 10 to 15 feet, and then a mile down the beach was 4 to 5 feet. Same company reporting for the same day. And so clearly, you know, like, it can't be, you know, I mean, not here at least. Some places work like that, but not here.
Right.
So why does it do stuff like that?
Right.
That's another thing that I kind of want to get into. So Flo.
Well,
Flo, why did she not really do it? And really because she didn't come in our swell window long enough, and it wasn't as big of a storm as it was forecast to be. So we were looking at like a 4 or 5 coming through that window, and at some points they were like, yeah, it's gonna stay off the coast, maybe and head south for a second. And by a second, I mean like jog southward for like a half a day or so. And that would be very beneficial for swell generation. It's in our window, coming towards us. That's what you want.
I mean, does she need to be more than like a Cat 2 in order for that to happen?
Yeah, so it's like swell's a product of how long the wind blew, the strength of it, and the direction it was coming from. And then there's this other thing like called cumulative fetch, which is like if the storm is traveling over its own path and the swell it generated, it like can boost up the swell potential as it moves towards you.
Right.
So it's like waves building on top of waves, building on top of waves that it's already built. Because the whole sea is moving in that direction. We didn't get that chance here.
Nope.
You know, so all that swell was really headed towards like the Outer Banks.
Seemed like it was just going straight towards the coastline, like directly in front of them.
Yeah, more or less, and that's where most of that stuff is going to head. And so, what you're looking for here in South Beach is like sideband swell.
Besides a prayer.
Yeah, and so if it was coming at us for a little bit, we got a shot at it. And it also like didn't stay in our window for very long. It just hit the coastline, and if you look like the Outer Banks where Hatteras sticks out, that's blocks us basically, and the storm wind field was over that portion of the Mid-Atlantic for a good time, so it just shuts down immediately because there's no water for it to blow over. So we got knee-high waves down here instead of what could have been, you know, a head-high swell or something.
Well, it's a good thing our motto around here is if it's knee-high chop, we're your shop.
There you go. And
So
it was knee-high groundswell.
Oof. Go to hell? Knee-high swell, go to hell!
That's kind of what it feels like sometimes.
Pretty much. I mean, that's kind of what we're saying. Like, really?
It's it's tough. And so part of the other issue that we ran into this one is I mean, have you guys ran into this problem where you go look at a forecast or report and then it's nothing like what you think it's supposed to be like based on what
all
it
the
says?
time.
It's called being a Florida surfer.
What do you guys? What things do you guys use for reports and stuff?
I use Surfline and this website called Wind Finder, just to see what the winds are doing. If it's like a wind swell day, just so I know like if it's gonna be 20 miles per hour, I know it's gonna be at least 2 to 3, or just really like examine to see what the swell is gonna be doing in the afternoon or whatnot.
Yeah, I like the National Weather Service one.
Yes.
That's the one I use.
I use the National Weather Service a lot too. What are you using, Grace?
You?
Yeah, I mean,
Like, Brad, wanna go surf? Sweet. Thank you surfing. I use thank you surfing.
so I got this whole like methodology that I used to do my forecasting,
Yeah,
but
just don't get weird on it because then you're just going to throw me off.
it includes everybody else's forecasts. There's this book I read called Super Forecasting. You can check it out on Amazon. It's really good. It's not about surf forecasting at all. It's about forecasting anything, like political events, economic events, weather, whatever. And they go through all these different methods on how to improve your forecasting. And one of them is to like come up with your own ideas, discuss them with other forecasters, and then like look at what other people have done and see how you fall within that range. Because someone might be like seeing something that you're completely missing, or maybe someone has some experience with something that you don't have, or whatever the case. So anyway, I look at everybody else's forecast, like kind of after I come up with my own opinion to see if I missed something or whatever. And that's why like when people are like, what is it gonna be like tomorrow? And I'm like, you should probably try to go surfing around here, and that's as good as you're gonna get. Like, how big is it gonna be? I'm like, I don't know, like call me 2 hours before and I can tell you what's on the buoys, and that's probably what's gonna hit you. And like by the time you get there, you know, like you can't do what people ask. I can't do like, and I don't think it really does it any justice to see like 5 stars, 4 to 7 feet. It's like, what does that
You just
even
really have to
mean?
go
What-
check it and see what the conditions are like with your,
eyes.
like at first hand, like first sight.
That's it. So the whole thing is like actual reporting, like eyes on it reporting, and very few companies do it. Like Magic Seaweed doesn't do it at all, as far as I know. Storm Surf doesn't do it, as far as I know. Swell Info doesn't do it. Surfline does it, but only for certain spots.
Certain
Yeah.
spots, yeah.
And if you look, it's the same reporter for the whole coastline. I mean, I don't
Sorry,
think
it's not that
they're
fast.
I don't think they're going to every one of those spots. And maybe they're looking at the cams and it's like, well, I mean, I actually really don't know what their process is, so I can't like throw shade at it. But I can tell you that the eyes on a report differ a lot from the computer generated reports.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you are using the computer generated reports,
It's a margin of error.
it's a huge margin of error. Like I was telling you with what happened this week at Sebastian, you know, it was just a few miles away. It was a completely different report. And so it's,
You named a spot, by the way. That's just, I don't know if anyone noticed that.
I named a town in,
Oh, right.
in Brevard County.
Sorry. Just keep going with that one.
I believe it's the county seat.
That's okay. The county of Seba.
God, yeah, I'm gonna get in trouble for that one.
Nobody knows about that spot.
All right, so anyway,
It's okay, I'll leave it out.
thank you. Nice. Are you on a microphone over there? Or you're just talking at us.
I'm just talking.
Okay, I should just repeat what you say. So Caleb just said he's gonna bleep it out for me.
Just listen close. Turn your headphones up. It'll be fine.
Just gotta use drop down mics.
All right, so here's another really big one that I don't think people take into consideration is that every swell model that you're using is based off of a single weather model, right? So when you guys are watching like the hurricane forecasters are like, the GFS model says it's going to do this, and the Euro model says this, and the UK Met says this, and the Canadian says this, and all this stuff, and then you take the Spaghetti model and it's like all of them you throw out. The only models that we use for swell forecasting, at least the computer generated stuff, like the WaveWatch 3 model, which is put out by the government, which everybody uses the basis of their model, is generated off the back of the GFS. Which means if the GFS is wrong, that every swell model you're looking at is wrong.
Yeah.
And so if you do any like sort of like mathematics, or even if you like play the game telephone, you know, if like we try to go from you to you to you to you, along the way things are going to get lost and mixed up. When you're doing it with forecast, you're doing forecast on top of forecast. Like that's a huge no-no when it comes to trying to be truthful in your reporting.
Right.
And so we do the best you can, and like it helps a lot. You know, I'm not gonna like diss the WaveWatch 3 model or anything like that. It's the only thing that we have to use, but it has that huge shortcoming. And so if you're saying like I believe the Euro is right in that hurricane and that's what's gonna happen, then you have to account that the wave model you're using is wrong and needs to be trended towards whatever the Euro is saying, which I try kind of do with like in my head.
Right. And in this last forecasting with the hurricane, for example, between Euro and as well as the GFS, which one was a little bit more right?
The
versus
Euro
the
was
other?
right.
So
Yeah.
still maintaining its.
Yeah, the Euro is great for hurricanes. At least it has been this season. And so, I mean, it didn't get.
Can the Euro get a swell situation going? I mean, a swell model going on?
Yeah, actually, I've looked into some of that stuff, and I think there might be something available through France. I gotta talk to some of my other scientist friends about this stuff, but there was like some links that I couldn't really understand how to click through in French.
It
And
was in
like,
French.
Yeah, and I look at websites like this, so I guess this is sort of revealing.
You're like, oh, lit huge. Does that mean it's gonna be you? It's gonna be big. It says lit huge.
I was like, Les Swell models. I was like, Le PayPal. I was like, where do I
look PayPal?
I was
You
like,
want more? You gotta pay to play.
I was like, isn't my info saved on this somewhere?
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, so I wrote the Prime Minister. We'll see what he says. Yeah, but this is the I think interesting thing is that everyone looks at those things and is like, yeah, you know, it's built out, it's done already. But I think there's so much room for improvement on all these things.
Oh, for sure.
Just based on the fact that like that one thing about the GFS exists. Everyone looks at that. Surfline adjusts their models based on years of like knowledge.
Yeah.
They've got it dialed for
I mean,
sure.
they have a hell of a team working on this stuff. But the U.S. government does too. So you can use some really awesome resources, like you mentioned, National Weather Service. They also put out a product called a SWAN model. It's the Nearshore Wave Model, which is
Yes,
very
and SWAN's an acronym.
yeah. It's
It's really cool, just as a name.
Shoreline Wave Analysis, something, I don't know.
Navigate. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's make it up.
But you can check it out on ThankYouSurfing. I had the link on there on the Surf Science Oceanography.
You can almost be like surf,
oceanography.
waves, and everything nautical.
I got every link for everything that I use on the site actually. But that model's really good, and it looks a lot like if you use Surfline's Lola model. Lola was before this model came out, I think. It may have actually been concurrently, but it's public and it's pretty awesome. And
That's
you can
good.
get like really high resolution swell model stuff for like even the inlets here. you
So
know?
what you're saying, I'm gathering from this whole situation,
Yeah.
is that if you really wanted to,
Uh-huh.
aside being me, that just listens to you and tells me when to go surf, or just goes to NWS, National Weather Service,
Yeah, that's good.
you can actually dive deep in there, find a lot of resources, do a little learning, and kind of figure out on your own what's going on. I mean, the resources are out there.
There's so much information out there. It's hard to wade through some of it.
Right.
Stormsurf.com has a lot of surf forecasting, like resources. I learned a lot of stuff from that site. And then just read through everybody's analysis all the time, and
Right.
you kind of start to realize that they do it in a certain way.
Right.
It's like, okay, I need to know what the
You
weather's
get
doing.
like a general consensus, and you
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
Yeah, and then you start to piece it together, and then you start to look for your own ways to do it.
kind of reminds me of my fantasy football team.
Does it now?
Yeah, because you kind of see what's going on out there, general consensus, and then
Uh-huh.
should I pick this guy up? Should I not?
Uh-huh.
What's the quarterback doing?
Uh-huh.
This and that. It's probably not even relevant, is it?
No, it's similar. It's a similar. Actually, read Super Forecasting. They have stuff that's examples just like that.
Well, I mean, all right. So
have I bored everybody about this stuff, right?
No, this is great. But aside from that, you were saying these two other storms can generate some surf up coast.
Uh-huh.
I'm starving down here.
Uh-huh.
I'm glad you guys all had great waves.
Uh-huh.
It's working. When am I going to surf down here?
Waiting on that first cold front, I guess.
Oh, December.
I mean,
January.
we still have.
December is usually pretty warm.
So far.
We still
Jeez.
have. No, come on. I mean, we have the rest of hurricane season to go
Yes.
through, so
Yeah,
hopefully
we're at that
we got
happy
nothing that
spot.
comes really close. But if we could get one to thread the needle and just kind of sit off the northern Bahamas between Carolinas for 2 weeks or 3, 4. That'd be good. I'll take that. If not that, then we're looking for that transition wind swell season coming. You know, fall.
Yeah, typically October kind of gives us a lot of northeast winds.
Yep. Lots of seaweed. Lots of man wars.
Yay.
Yeah. Wetsuit time.
Yeah, some of that choppy chop. I love it. It's fun. It's what it starts getting you in shape for when the cold fronts come through.
Shape.
Cold fronts, you know, usually around Halloween you get that first cold front.
That's true. This is true.
So, yeah, that's what you got to look forward to.
And
then,
as far as patterns go in regards to cold fronts and whatnot coming around, I know.
yeah, it started to.
Does it look like we potentially could have a pretty decent winter in regards to cold fronts or whatnot? Is there anything special going on out there that could
I don't know about
deter?
No, I mean looking for a little bit of an El Nino situation setting up, but nothing too strong.
Got it.
It's just a slight sort of indication that it might be trying to form. But other than that, folks up in New York's had kind of like that first cold front come through right around, I guess, right after Labor Day or something. And so they were all like, oh my God, summer's over. It's freezing and raining. This sucks. So, yeah.
And then they
It's
got
coming.
floor swell. They're like, oh well, things are great.
Oh, it's actually fine. It's because north winds right after the front. I like that.
So I mean, so during this floor swell and whatnot, we got a short border, long border, right?
Opposite.
Let's go
Short
ahead and
board.
segue into our next little segment here.
That was so smooth.
You like that? That's as smooth as your pork tacos. Those things were great. How were those things? Seriously, I mean, Brad makes some of the best pork
Super
tacos
Richter.
right. God, it's so
Richter
good.
scale is
I might almost bring that thing
broken.
back down. It's like-
broken.
At this point, I stopped eating with the tortillas.
I was
so
like
bit
straight
my
in.
fingers. I was like, bit my finger. It's good. Not that I bit my finger, but it was good tacos. We're pork all together. So, Chris, traditionally short border.
Yes, I grew
Grew
up.
up the Pat Connell of the duo.
That is true.
Yeah.
It's scary how kind of funny it is.
It's so awesome.
Yeah, my brother actually he grew up a pro kiteboarder, and then he was shortboarding, so he got me into it, and I kind of just stuck with it, and then met this guy, and I saw him having way more fun than me in the small stuff on the longboard, so I was like,
So you
I gotta
enjoy
meet this
longboarding
guy.
as well?
yeah, I do.
Okay.
Whenever it's small, I'll grab the log, and
How old were you when you first started?
I first started when I was 13,
13.
so kind of late.
How
but
old are you now?
I'm 18.
Nice.
Yeah. So I grew up in Weston, and my family moved out to Lauderdale when I was around 8, and I was playing soccer and flag football, so I wasn't really I was kind of scared of the beach actually at first.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why were you scared of the beach?
I don't know.
Sharks.
Yeah, well, like sharks, and I just didn't like the sand, and I was getting sunburned
Sharks,
so
I
much.
got this whole
Sharks and guys in
80s
G-strings.
yeah, I was like, this whole 80s gaming thing. He's like, I don't know. I walk
Yeah.
past the pier. These guys are trying to rough me up.
Yeah, and it was just super intimidating for me at a young age, so I wasn't really comfortable around it.
Yeah, you don't grow
Meanwhile,
up
it's
on the
like the
beach.
guys in the banana hammocks on boogie boards. They were freaking him out. He's like, no, I never want to go in the water.
Exactly.
These guys are weird.
Yeah.
Just pick it up quick. I mean,
Yeah, I did. I just fell in love with the fact that you could do it on your own. It was individual, and I noticed how much fun people were having. Just after work, they could just go do what they
Yeah.
wanted to do. It
yeah, that's pretty awesome.
That's very true.
was super awesome.
Billy, how old were you when you started?
I was 9. So
Nice.
when I first started, I absolutely hated it. I was an ice hockey player. I was like, this is not fun. The water's cold.
Did you grow up in Delray or?
No, the first time I went surfing actually was in Seaside Reef,
Oh,
San Diego,
California.
California.
Artist.
So
San Diego.
went there for vacation. I'm like, oh, I want to stay in Florida and play ice hockey. I don't want to go surfing in California.
Stay in Florida.
and play ice hockey. Yeah, I know.
It's confusing.
Yeah.
Keep going.
After a while, got into it and then fell in love with it pretty much. After that, after
Was
that
it
first
straight
wave at Seaside
longboarding
Reef,
right off the bat, or did you
I
jump
actually only
shortboard? or-
shortboarded
Okay.
for the longest time, and then I
What,
was like,
what drove you to go longboard?
Just watching waist high waves peel with no one out.
Right.
I'm just like,
Necessity.
this is awesome. You can surf in Florida
Yeah.
more than 100 days a year.
Nice. And was there a particular surfer locally or a surfer maybe that was popular that kind of you got drawn to? You're saying, hey, longboarding seems epic because I'm watching
Yeah,
these guys.
no one
I
was
wanna
really
kinda-
longboarding for a while there.
No, I
Yes.
mean, and there's not for a while. There's not
Ever
like
in the
a-
summer too, there was that whole
Right.
resurgence
Right.
of longboarding.
Right.
You know?
But most times longboarding
Remember
just
that?
kind of would kind of be like an old man's thing around here, where it was
Yeah.
was an older guy thing because it was all right, I'm too fat for a shortboard, need more volume, and I want to be able to go straight or on a triangle. You know, and I mean, I know when I started longboarding, I didn't start longboarding until probably my early 20s, and at that point it was just you just saw guys kind of just turn and just set a line and that was it, but they weren't doing
Yeah.
anything else. I'm like, boring. But then you would watch guys Wingnut and a bunch of other people there. You're just like, wow, these guys.
Oh,
really-
I think it's,
you know, there's a lot more
that's
to
a
it.
difference
Yeah.
between just riding a board that's big,
Right.
and then longboarding.
Right.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
walking it was a dance. You know.
Surfing's
and-
just so diverse. You
Right.
can ride so many different shapes.
Right, and,
shapes
I think
crafts.
that's what makes you a better surfer, nonetheless, is riding a bunch of different boards and,
For sure.
and feeling the rails differently.
Over the last 2 years of me just experimenting with different boards, I've definitely felt my flow and style.
Well, you were riding a 9.8 the other day, right?
9.8.
That board was
Black Rose.
enormous.
Yes, that thing is.
And heavy glassing, it's not an easy board. That's a board that keeps you honest.
Oh my gosh, it was
Like,
so
there's-
hard.
right,
to
there-
I hadn't ridden a longboard in forever, and that was the first thing I touched.
No.
I was like, it was like,
No, it
it's
is
like riding a
so
tanker.
Yeah, yeah, it's heavy glassing. It is just,
Really heavy board, really hard to
I didn't
turn.
get to look at it completely, but it seemed like it had some chimed rails.
Oh my god, it was not easy to surf.
Yeah.
Not for me,
Nose
at
rider.
least.
Yeah.
And it's not like Billy's like a big heavy guy. I mean, Billy's probably right, what are you up-
160.
I was gonna say about 50 or so, so
Yeah.
160 or so, and a 9/8, and it's not like we have like long waves here. So to be able to kind of adjust and tweak and stuff like that, like there's a lot of thought process that goes into
For
to
sure.
catching a
You
wave.
gotta be
like,
moving around quick.
right, and you're kind of thinking a little bit ahead of it. You're just like you're looking at the wave and you're just like, what's this thing gonna do? And push
Push
the
the
board.
section just gonna barrel, so you
Right.
can just walk right up.
Right.
It is a dance, though. You're
Right.
right. I mean, when I stand up and ride a wave on a longboard, I approach it completely different than on a shortboard when
Sure.
it's pumping. I mean, you're kind of looking ahead, like you said.
Right.
So you're timing the section up here, so by the time you walk up, you're at the section.
At that section.
Yeah.
So when you
Interesting.
jump down into a shortboard, are you jumping into a traditional shortboard, or are you getting weird?
Yeah, definitely getting weird.
What do you like? What are you riding as a shortboard?
I've actually been trying to experiment with some finless boards lately,
Oh,
but some twin fins,
finless traditional Aliyah style, or
some Bonzers, different stuff. you know.
okay,
I really do like the
Anything
traditional
favorite now?
twin fin with keel fins.
Okay.
I really dig that board. I really dig it because I just like going fast down
Right.
the line, and
yes,
a lot of the waves down here on North Swell, it's kind of just a big closeout, so
Right.
you race the section.
call it sideways surfing. It's just one of those things where you're just like, and that's one of the things with like being a Florida surfer that I remember the first time I surfed like anything that was not Florida surf, that was like Pacific surf. I realized I was way ahead of the wave. All of a sudden you're like,
Stay in the
because you get
pocket.
right,
Yeah, you gotta
right, like the whole pocket thing was just totally foreign to me. Right off the bat, it's like you're like taking off and you're just like, oh wait, wave's over. But meanwhile, the wave's still happening behind you, and it was just like, oh, maybe I should slow it down a little bit. Like all of a sudden, you're like, instead of just completely just going down the line, you're like, oh, I'm gonna drop in and lose a little speed and be able to pocket surf this thing and be able to harness the
Yeah,
wave
yeah.
and whatnot. And it took me a little bit to adjust.
Stop pumping.
as a young Florida surfer. Was to
It
stop
turns out
pumping.
you don't have to pump
Right.
anywhere
I was
else, like in the
all
world.
the speed
It's
is so
not
much
even a
fun.
thing they
And
know
all of a
about.
sudden, you're
They're
just like, wave's over.
Pump? What is pumping? We don't pump. Oh, in the barrel. Yeah, we pump in the barrel sometimes. You're like, oh gosh. No, what we do is pump, 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 close out in section.
Well, I mean, that's sometimes on a shortboard and being a South Florida surfer, it's the challenge is like you're creating your own speed. And then at the same time, to be able to make a move happen, you have to create that speed to be able to make that move. And then as you're making that move, you're like, how's that going to transition to having enough speed and to get into that next section and stuff like that. And you might only have 2 sections left.
2 sections.
Yeah,
Generous.
right, yeah. It's like that one hit and then the end move.
That's
you know?
the end move. Yeah. Finish it.
Yeah, finish, exactly. So, and Chris, when you ride a longboard, are you riding something big as well, or you riding something a little more forgiving?
Oh no, I ride like a 9.8 even, or
Oh,
like a
wow.
9.6
Really?
sometimes.
God, I
Yeah.
love that. These younger guys are really just
Yeah,
pushing
so-
it on bigger boards. That things that most
Are there
people
other
just
people
like.
doing that? Because we don't really have that many people riding equipment.
Well,
like that
our
around
Grom
here.
here, our intern Keegan, he's riding like at least a 9.0. He's usually riding 9.0s, and even when the surf gets a little bigger, he's riding a bigger board and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
in the shortboarding too lately.
Right.
But yeah, I
but
guess.
it's invigorating to watch, at least down here. And again, a lot of times as far
It's
as
bizarre to me to
far as
see.
South Florida,
Like,
our
what?
DNA
Where'd
for
you guys
surf is a
come
little
from?
different than other places,
Yeah.
right? It's not like California, it's not like Hawaii, where it's like built into your uncle, your aunties, your dad, everybody else surfed growing up and stuff. Especially down in Miami, as far as South Florida, it's just not part of the
It
family.
was for them apparently.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
So you guys had.
We got the bug.
You guys had
Right.
folks
Yeah.
that surf, right?
Yeah, my dad surfs and he went to UH and he actually grew up in Miami.
Nice.
So he was out at South Beach probably with you guys.
Yeah. Just call me old.
No, not with you guys. Yeah, not with you guys, but I heard that wrong.
I mean, it's possible. But it's funny how there's that Miami connection with surfing in different places and then being able
It's
to come
everywhere.
back and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's at the
It's that
public,
hunger.
up coast.
It's that hunger.
It's in the parking
We're
lot.
way hungrier than most other surfers.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, that's why I think some Florida surfers are some of the best surfers in the world. You know, I mean, the Hopkins have proved that. The Lopez brothers have proved that. One guy, I don't know, Slater, he's kind of proved that.
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of.
A couple times.
He's a goat.
A couple times he's done that. So, is there a lot of guys that longboard like old? I mean, it's traditional longboarding, basically, what you guys are doing, or at least that's what I look at it
Right.
as.
It's not as performance driven.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
a big longboard
it's pretty
community.
neat that up
You guys
in
aren't
North
doing
Florida, I've
airs,
actually been
right?
able to tie into that community up there. There's a ton of people that longboard up there. And
That are younger, like your guys'
yeah,
age and
fully
stuff like
like
that.
kids.
Right.
And we're all
But
just
that
longboarding,
is there
having a
like
great
central
time.
focus, or that is in addition to? Like
think-
it's like I longboard, but like when it gets too big, then I'll jump on the short board.
Yeah, I just ride whatever the waves call for. I like that. That's what Joel Tudor says.
clip that one.
That's
Quote.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's exactly
It's
what
true.
It's a
It's true.
tool. Surfboard's a tool.
But
You know,
again,
so-
you know, riding all the different boards really improve your surfing overall. You know.
Yeah, so how big will you guys go on waves before you're like, oh yeah, now I'm gonna switch up? Because there is, it's like some fun. I rode like one of
Yeah,
my
I've-
boards that I ride usually in smaller waves. It was actually by accident. And I was checking the spot and it's in the Pacific Ocean and long left point break and I was like, oh yeah, it looks about like chest high, okay, cool. I didn't see like all those black water sets coming like every 25 minutes. And I was like, oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
oh, it's a little bigger than I thought.
It's on my stroke
Shit, I
board.
probably should not be riding this thing. But it was fun to try, you know, and to like feel like the speed chatter and like all that
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
and like feel the board redlining. You're like, okay, well, I know where this board stops now. Like, I can't serve this
Yeah.
board in these conditions. At least I can't. Maybe other people could. But so you guys have that spot on longboards? How big does it get?
I mean, I've logged Sano, like San Onofre and stuff, like 8 to 10 foot. It's just,
Really?
it's just a big mush burger.
Yeah,
It just
okay.
rolls. Like, and my 9.8 loves that. Just
A big mush burger.
mush
huh?
burger, pretty much, yeah. So if it's here, I mean, I've shortboarded here waist high, little waves here, because it's just so much punch and power.
Right, and it's true. It's so weird about that, like just the waist high, where it's just something about the bottom there. It's just like it's punchy. It's got little launch ramps here and there.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
don't need a
definitely.
longboard. And then it's same thing. Like I don't ever get to surf a longboard on bigger surf because when it gets that, you're like, oh, I'm gonna just jump on the shortboard.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
but it's so much fun. Like you're getting into waves so much sooner. And
I
there's,
asked
just
you
so,
that
and there's so
last
much other
weekend.
things to kind of do with it. And I can imagine what Sano 8 to 10 was because I've surfed at like 2 to 3.
It's a lot different.
Yeah, because you're
Yeah.
just like, oh, it's fucking crappy everywhere, so I'm just gonna go to Santa and just jump on the longboard, and it's fun, you know. But like, you know, we were just talking about the relic contest out at Trestles
Yeah.
that passed and stuff, and these guys were surfing it some pretty decent size.
All the old school
No
boards.
Yeah.
leashes either. I mean,
No leashes on a bunch of that. You're just
Yeah,
like,
it's
and
pretty
then there's
nice.
that part of you is just like, God, do I suck that bad? Because I'm like, there's no way I would do it like that, and because I'd lose my board every wave it seemed like, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, a bunch of these guys lost their boards and completely had to swim in and get their boards and go back out again. You're just like, all right. Not that I would compare to any of those guys, but
Maybe the swimming board.
maybe the swimming part. It's the only part that we have anything in
You
common.
guys probably wax boards similarly.
I've got a leash string.
I put my board on the top of the car just like you do. Oh wait, how do you do it? You twist the straps? That's a way better idea.
So my
Oh, by the way, you guys know that, right?
My
the whole
fins
twist the
backwards?
straps
yeah,
thing.
yeah, that's.
What?
Yeah. So I
For
didn't
that
know that
noise?
forever.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I would make them perfectly like
Straight.
straight,
Yeah,
and
and
so
it
it
would
would
just
never
be
do it. No, it would never get this buzz if you get it
Yeah,
perfectly
yeah.
straight.
Yeah.
But if you get any little kink in it and you're trying to get it perfectly straight, then you get the whole ride there.
So you have to twist it?
If you twist them,
Oh,
it doesn't
goodness,
make the
Liz,
noise.
Mind blown right now.
Oh, you learn something every day.
So
What?
I was like 35 when I learned that. So
You
yeah,
got a couple years on.
yeah, use that one. That one's a good one.
That is good.
Actually, it brings us right into the next topic: car surfing.
Wow.
That's
Oh,
an
man.
That
unintentional
was a
segue.
natural segue.
Car surfing.
Bye, Karen.
Bye, Karen.
Bye.
Car surfing, the act of driving around looking for waves. Ellipses, exclamation point, question mark. I don't know how to end that statement.
So, I'm Ron Burgundy. Yeah, like what? I mean, what's is it? Is it that once you see a place, it's kind of fun, it looks great.
Everyone's got one friend
do you
that's
just-
the car surf like king. I'm
Yeah.
probably that guy. Yeah, the studio audience is definitely pointing in my direction.
Are you that guy too?
Yes.
So you're like,
That's-
oh, well, let's
that's
go
Palm
check
Beach
this other
County.
spot.
MVD, most valued driver. That's me. I've driven to Sebastian and back, no waves, no surfing, just drove there, drove back.
Oh yeah.
So,
I did that to New Smyrna.
So, but this is in relation to you're pulling up
I've
to a
done that to
place.
New Smyrna as
It
well.
looks good.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden you're just
Welcome to
like,
Florida.
hey, let's go check this other spot out. Like, should you check other spots
Yes.
out? Or do you just say, this place looks good, we should just go here?
If the waves are meager, you should definitely go check another spot.
Right. But if the wave look good and fun, do you check another spot? Do you say, well,
I don't.
you know,
If it's
if it's good right there,
Yeah,
you go.
right there, you go out.
That's South Florida. Be gone in 2 minutes.
Right,
Like,
right, because that happens.
You're
Yeah.
looking
I mean-
at it and it's gonna be too late.
All right.
Right.
There's something to be said about how good you think it's supposed to be, you know, based on what you think is going to happen, and then you're like, okay, I think there's something that's better than what we're looking at. Let's keep going. Man,
But
There's
it-
definitely
I
a
did it-
time
I did it today.
to take the risk and go check another spot when
I checked-
there are waves.
And I wonder what the
Check
percentage
three-
is
2-3
on
spots before
checking
we-
another spot and then getting skunked and realizing I should have just stayed in the place. Is it more
It's
that
like 60-40.
but that chances are that you should have just stayed in the
That you
in the
get
place.
skunked, it's higher.
Right.
Yeah.
That you should
I
have
think
just
you're
stayed
right
where you're
about
at.
that.
Yeah, I would go with the 64.
However,
Yeah.
the cumulative skunkage adds up to your knowledge that you have to go on forever. So it's like all those spots that you check that you're like better, worse, crap. We should have gone back to the other spot. Now it's not as good because of the tide. Oh crap. Okay, so this spot is actually
you're saying
time
it's-
dependent.
so, here's
Those other
what I see
spots
here.
were okay. That other spot will probably be better if that other thing was happening. So next time.
So you bring this back into a learnable moment.
Oh, it's-
So you're just like, you know what?
Yeah, this is
Fine,
less
I'm coming
than-
back to just wind-driven stuff. It's a little more textured now. It's not as fun as I would have went out originally, but I learned something.
Listen, it pays off for all you guys that get in the car with me now. I can tell you
It's
that
true.
much.
Thank you, Serpent.
All that car surfing definitely pays off for anybody who wants to drive with me these days. I mean, I know where the best bathrooms are. I know the best places. to eat.
At that point, yeah, I guess you look at it, you're like, you know what? It's kind of 10:26 right now. If we get in with the tide, whatever, this spot doesn't have a Publix with a really good subs.
I went to
But right up the road, with the tide coming in, is a little bit better.
did it today.
And there's a Publix right across the street.
Yep.
We should go there.
Did it today.
Boom. Publix calls it.
Yeah. Also, the Hutchinson Island
Publix, call me
Marriott
if you want
is a
sponsor.
great restaurant. They've got 15-minute parking right out in front. It's a special spot. It's really nice.
Where is this?
Hutchinson Island Marriott.
Okay.
Some good spot.
Good
for
to know.
spots.
Number 2.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a beautiful golf course. The resort's pretty good. Decent beer selection at the bar.
Yes, we are only naming cities, not necessarily
The
spots.
Publix up the road is actually good.
beer.
Oh, actually,
The
there's
Publix at Hutchinson is really good, actually.
the nature center over there is actually really cool too. There's they got this awesome nature center that they have a lagoon back there with all these like sharks and rays and all this awesome
How
stuff.
flat was it that day?
What's
What
that?
is that? Well, apparently he
I went with
knows
my mom
on
and
spot
dad.
number 4 he had checked.
I went with my mom and dad.
What is the name of that park? I just. It's on the tip of my tongue. But you're right, it was good. So,
All right. I think my most epic car surf of all time, though, was Costa Rica 2004. This makes me laugh every time I think about it.
because he didn't surf that day. He was
What's
like,
that?
oh, this is so great.
San Jose
Let's go get some more
to
beers.
Playa Grande. Surfed for 40 minutes before
San Jose to Playa Grande,
Wow.
which is a 4-hour and change drive, 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
Surfed
4 to
like,
6 hours, depending on how fast you're driving.
Waist to chest high waves.
2004 roads weren't good.
Woke up in the morning.
6 hours.
Flat. Went to Tamarindo to find the internet. Yeah, you had to go like an internet cafe and all that
Wow.
kind of thing. I was like, oh, it turns out that's what we're looking for. Not gonna hit here. It's gonna be flat for a week. My friends looked at me. I was like, gotta go to the Caribbean. And they were like, from here? I was like, yeah. They're like, so we have to go back to San Jose? I was like, uh-huh. So we got back in the car, drove to San Jose, stayed the night, drove to the Caribbean, surfed the Caribbean for a week, then went back to the
How
Pacific
much
side.
time do you guys have? How long are you guys there for?
Like 20-something days.
Solid
To be
trip.
young.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that was the most car surfing I ever done. It was San Jose, Playa Grande, Tamarindo to San Jose to Limon, Limon to Puerto Viejo.
percentage of time in the car versus time in the water.
Like 90,
80-20.
90 car, 10 water. I mean, some hotels.
But it was the experience.
Oh,
it was that
and
learning moment. Huh?
I know how all the spots work now.
Oh.
So if you guys want to go to Costa Rica, I know pretty much every spot in that freaking country. Yes, I like car surfing. I think like some of the most fun stuff happened. Oh yeah, our last Costa Rica trip. Most fun thing that happened, we went to go check a spot and just got stuck in the mud. And it was my most favorite moment of the whole trip, just sitting there in the rain, covered in mud. Everybody's left to go look for help. And I was just sitting there with all of our stuff, listening to the monkeys,
Thinking about waves
watching the rain, watching ants carry leaves by my feet, and I was like, this is awesome. You know, it just, if we hadn't fell in that giant mud puddle, you know, like you wouldn't have that experience of the guy going to Quinceañera with the giant tractor coming. He wouldn't get down off the tractor because he had his nice shoes on.
You know,
and just threw the chain at us and was like, you guys just, yeah, great, good.
They talk about living in the moment, really appreciating.
That's what car surfing is, though.
Yes.
Car surfing, like, you find that one spot you never would have found. You're like, oh, turn around over here. Oh, it's a beach entrance. You know what? Go run out and check it real
Let's just
quick.
look at it, right?
And you're like, guys, you're never gonna believe it. And the guy driving never does believe it. He's sitting there. He's like, no, I'm not parking. And then like he needs one guy to come back to the car with his face like all glowing. He's like, no, really, Bobby, really, you gotta come. Like, park the car.
Yeah. It's like, oh my gosh, this is the spot.
What's the most you've ever driven around?
Yeah.
Have you done it like a Miami to New Smyrna run? And
I've done a Miami to South Kakalaki, a little South Carolina. It's what the locals call it. It's a Folly Beach up in the washout, and it was during September, and it was actually a hurricane was coming. It was close
Did you
by.
chase the hurricane?
We kind of did. I was working for Quicksilver at the time, and we were going up to the Quicksilver store up there. That was a franchise that was becoming corporate at that time, so we were kind of en route to do that, and we were just stopping at different spots on the way up, and we kind of just went and continued up until we got there and surfed all the way. So that's about like 17 hours or so.
So that was like a business trip turned surf trip turned epic car surf.
Yeah, it was so good because because
just keep going.
Because Folly Beach is a south-facing beach as well, and they can be pretty fickle, like us a little bit. So, but the sand is really packed, like ours here. So it was really similar to what we have going on, like really not that far of a paddle out, and just like heaving barrels, you know. And I got like I remember I got pummeled on a duck dive. Like I ducked over the wave, and I thought I ducked over enough, and I got brought back around and pinned, and then got into the floor with my board, laying on my board, and be like, "What the fuck is going on?" You know? And then all of a sudden, like it was one of those where you pin and then you just push your board off to the side underwater, and you come up and you realize you're only in like waist high water. You're like, what the hell is that? And then you smile with like sand coming out of your nose. You know, like, yes! Yes!
That's it.
I better get back on my board because we're doing another set. You know, and then you go back.
Definitely don't want to do that again.
Okay, so there's power. But
That's
it was pretty decent car.
You guys take road trips?
Oh, I love road trips, especially because you can play your playlist like 2 or 3 times, listen to everything you got, and then when you're there, it's
And
just
with
like
a good crew, like you like the talks that come up, this and that, you crack up. It really becomes a moment. I found that like certain road trips that you go on with people that you may not have gone on road trips before, also that builds a stronger bond and relationship and friendship that you didn't have before, you didn't expect. All of a sudden there's like this camaraderie, this brethren that kind of goes on afterwards where you're just like, dude, you shared moments.
you shared good
you shared
moments
some
with
time,
people.
and all of a sudden you realize that
More
kind of
crappy moments.
Right.
You know, those are probably the ones that bind you even more. It's like when you run out of gas or something, you're like, all right,
get stuck in the sand.
I guess
if you're
we're
at
hoofing
NSP
it back
or
into
something.
town. Or getting stuck in the sand.
Well, those are the moments that test character, you know?
Or just whatever. Crashing the car.
And it builds character
Getting
too.
spooked out by sharks with all the
Getting spooked out by lightning,
Right.
sharks,
Right.
whatever. Any giant frightening animal, scary locals, whatever. All those things kind of like add up to the car surfing experience. That's what I think I don't mind it so much because you don't really know. Some of the best spots I ever found were just because I'm like, come on, one more river.
Yes.
Up one more hill.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Next beach. Next cove.
But isn't
take one more
that
cove.
Once you find it, it makes it so worth it.
isn't that exploration kind of like the
my favorite
part of
part.
surfing that
That's
like
one of my favorite
it's just
parts.
like that kind of
It's
just keeps
so
you
fun.
going, you know.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly.
like that's that love that
The inner
that
Grom,
just-
too,
yeah,
is
you get
always
enamored with this like
frothing.
constant search, you know.
Even like on a micro level, like today when we were surfing, we showed up at this one spot that everyone kind of goes and surfs, and I was like, I'm gonna go explore that peak that no one's surfing. There's got to be some wave, you
yeah.
know, that I can get into over there, and like I was kind of right, you know. The other people were more right because the peak was much better, but like. You know, you can do those trade-offs, you know, and you're
Yeah.
like, and if you get that one rip on the right wave, you're like, oh, actually, that was a really sick one. I'm glad I came all the way down here. And then you pop 200 yards back up the beach, and you're like, oh, okay, that was worth it, right? You know, it's
My one wave to their 6 waves was totally worth it.
one good one. I explored that peak by myself.
But yeah, I mean I think that's some of the phenomenal things about being a surfer. Aside, I know we were kind of talking earlier about surfers. I think are some of the best storytellers in
Yeah.
general. Like you know, just like and it's those experiences. It's whether it's those long car surfing trips or
Well, we
those
do it here
random
in
moments that
Miami,
things happen.
because
Right,
we have to.
Yeah.
You guys did like you're further up coast-ish. You're further, so like you're actually kind of in the small window.
Yeah.
So like, do you travel? Because I feel like guys from Miami travel
You have
probably way more than any other like little surf community.
And
They
you know,
have to.
our brothers in Fort Lauderdale too.
Yeah, they
you know, they
think
kind of
this is
suffer.
driving.
They suffer a lot of the same things we
Well, that's
do.
kind of what I was asking. Like, so
Yeah.
how, you guys all travel a lot too?
Yeah, I mean, I have a job. I valet cars, so I save up for the gas money.
I used to valet.
Send
I
it
love
up
those.
coast, and then I try to make it over to the Caribbean a couple times a year for like some pop-up swells.
Oh yeah.
Whenever it's
That's
blocked
good.
over here, it's sometimes good over there.
I mean, and Billy's from Delray, and Delray is actually
Yeah,
one
I'm
of those
super
spots.
fortunate 'cause
Yeah, because Delray Cat
I've
just
seen-
picks up swell a lot quicker than a lot of other places. Like
Yeah,
it's
you're-
easily almost
you're
like a foot
lucky
bigger than
boy.
most other
I love
places
it.
usually.
Yeah.
I mean, I've checked the waves there at 7 in the morning, come back at 8:30. It's already chest high. No one's out. Everyone looked at it. They're like, oh, we're going to work. Just 9:30, it'll be firing. Till like 12, and then it'll go flat. That wave is a hard wave to forecast.
It's fickle.
That's
It's called the Bermuda Triangle.
boom.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's really hard.
It's a magic
Yeah.
man. Now you see me, now you don't.
That's you guys actually get very similar sort of conditions to us. When you see like Delray working, a lot of times it's working down here, and then some other places will be flat. Keegan!
Oh,
there it is, Keegs.
This Grom.
Yeah, that's our
Keegan
intern.
just showed up.
Yeah, off his babysitting gig.
I know.
The kids
How
all
was
right?
Yeah, no fights. Thank God.
No fights. They're asleep. The parents came home. You did the handoff and everything. Got paid.
Yeah.
Right? No CO.
Yeah.
Big part.
Yeah.
Big
Tacos in the back.
A few more bucks to getting aboard.
There you
There
go.
What are we getting next?
Yeah. I don't know. I was looking at the used one in the back.
Which
so
one? We gotta catch
the one with the black carbon fiber rim, the rail. I'll show you after.
All right.
There's
Check it
tacos
out.
if you want, though.
There's tacos. You hungry? Get in there. Get in there.
Car surfing.
Yes.
So you guys go up coast a lot.
Yes.
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 Quite often.
During the summer when it's kind of slow, and there's maybe waves a little bit further north. I mean, this past summer maybe not as much, but how often do you guys surf? Like how much do you like make it?
Like, we'll just go up for like a Saturday or a Sunday. And be like, let's just go up coast and longboard. Mess
Yeah.
around, you know, just get in the
Like,
water.
Bring
once
a
a week?
short just in case.
Once a week?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, once a week.
Probably.
So you guys probably
At
do
most.
it, I think, more like how I hear people in places with waves actually go surfing. They're like, it's Saturday, let's go surfing. And like in California, they'll do that. Just like, yeah, it's my day off, so I go surfing on my day off. And I'm
the
like,
difference
what?
is that they're just going to like their no local break. They're like, yeah, it's Saturday, let's go surf. Sweet, let's go surf.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, what? You can? How do you do that?
Yeah.
So you guys
Meanwhile,
basically
we're
just
like,
do
oh, it's got
that,
2 hours.
but It's like 3 hours up the road.
Yeah.
Wow, it's getting a little crazy outside.
Some parties going on. I can only imagine what happens on our 10-year anniversary. Should we do a podcast that night? I don't know. Little photo booth. Whoa! Dropping F-bombs out there. Things are getting
There's
nuts.
a young lady screaming outside right now.
Someone cut her
Yeah.
off.
Yeah. There's a lover's quarrel. That's what they'll call that, I guess. Could be a crime of passion later. We'll see if it
Crime
escalates.
of
passion.
I think we might be done with the episode.
I think you.
I think
we nailed it.
Thanks for
I'm
the
so
invite,
stoked that we got
boys.
Pat O'Connell here
And
Wingnut, the new version.
Thanks for having us.
1992 surfing.
Chris, Billy, awesome to have you
Yeah,
guys.
thanks, boys.
I look forward to seeing you guys in the water and come back and do this again.
Well, we were talking about, like, you know, we saw Shane Cottrell up
Yeah,
at
Island Water
IWS
Sports.
Oh, yeah.
in Deerfield.
Let's do that.
And we were wanting to do a couple different shops. You got, you know, Ryan over at Nomad, as well as all these other guys. So let's go ahead and make that surf shop
Want
thing.
to do a
They
New
want to
York
be
visit soon.
Yes, they want to be part
Bring-
of the
bring the show on the
one.
road.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
definitely.
We're gonna do it. So you'll see these faces again. So it's exciting. Walk us
All right.
out, Bradley.
Today is September 14th.
It
It's
is.
episode 34 of Talk Story. We got Brad Wells of Thank You Surfing. We got Chris, Billy. We got studio audience over here. We got Keegan showed up. Caleb
On the AV.
on the AV and making comments from beyond. Catch you guys next time. Lates.